Hi, welcome. Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be doing a step-by-step tutorial on how to do a screen replacement on a MacBook Pro. My laptop here is a 2019. If you have the 2018, you can follow along with the video as well. Let me show you what I have here. So if you take a look at the back of your laptop, here it does says A2159. The model is 13-inch. And this is a 2019. So let me show you the screen on my laptop. And as you can see that the pixelated lines is running across the screen. Fuzzy lines and whatnot. So I'm going to turn it off by pressing the power button, press and hold. That's how you turn off the laptop. The next step you need to have is a pentalobe screwdriver. Let's go ahead and remove the back cover here. You might want to check the link in the description below. I'll list it out where I bought all the tools from, as well as the screen replacement. I believe you can get them through Amazon. If not, you can get the one that I got here. This screen, I got it through eBay. It's the entire replacement screen. That's what I recommend you to do versus just buying the screen and replace it yourself. That might be a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging process to do. But if you get the full assembly like what I did, it's a lot easier by swapping the entire screen. Alright, so once you remove all the screws at the back panel here, let's go ahead and take it out. So I'm using a prying tool. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get underneath the cover. And once you get underneath it, you want to pop it open. You're going to hear that little cracking noise. I'm going to push it and separate it apart. And that is normal to hear that pop because the clicker is right here. It's holding onto the back panel. I'm going to turn it around and try to do on the other side. Alright, so once you pop the two clicker and you want to slide, make sure you're in the right position. You want to slide the back cover towards your body. So slide it down towards your body. And that's how you remove the back cover. The reason is because this is the slider. It slides into here. And to remove, you're going to slide it out. Alright, once you have that removed, the next step is to disconnect the battery. So this is a little plastic here covering up the connection, and you want to disconnect this cable. So you go ahead and open up the plastic here, and there's a clipper. You need to flip the clipper open at 90-degree angle. Once you have that little clipper here opening straight up, you want to slide the cable to your left. Okay, slide it to your left. That's how you disconnect this cable. Once you disconnect the cable, let's go ahead and remove this screw. I'll be using a T4. Once I remove the screws and I slightly lift the connector up a little bit, do not lift it so much. If you lift it too much, you're going to break. So the connector, you just kind of touch together. That's how the battery get connected. And once you remove the screw and lift it up slightly a little, there's no connection in between the battery and the motherboard. Alright, so the next step I like to do is to remove the screws on the base of this thing here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll be using a T4. And again, this screwdriver here, I got it through Amazon. And I'll have the link in the description below. It has all the tools that you need for this repair. Make sure you save all the bracket and the screw so we know where to put it back afterwards. Alright, once you have that removed, go ahead and pry open the connector. The connector is just like Lego. It's snap on to install, and you pry it straight up, it's open to disconnect them. Let's continue removing the rest of other screws. So this one here, I'm using a T3. Back to T4. This is for your Wi-Fi. Okay, so the Wi-Fi connector is the top and bottom, and this two cable connects to this yellow bracket here. You can see that the entire Wi-Fi antenna. So that's where it brings your Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. So go ahead and disconnect the connector here. If you find some difficulties, get a plastic prying tool, tuck it underneath, and lift it straight up. Alright, just lift the connector straight up. Now let's get back to using, I think this is a different screws. I believe this is the 0.8. Alright, so this tiny one might be 0.8. It's a 0.8 screws. They're really tiny. Make sure you have the right screw for the purpose. You do not want to strip the screws. Once the screw is stripped, you would have very difficult chance to remove it. However, it is repairable and removable if you strip the screw. So it's not like the end of the life when you strip the screws. You still can get it out. Again, this is the 0.8 Torx screwdriver. So what I'm doing right now is I'm removing the Wi-Fi antenna. And these are the process on how to do that. If you find my video is very helpful, and also if you feel like you were able to follow along with the video and get your computer screen repaired, please go ahead and click the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also comment below and let me know whether you did it or not. You know, whether you were able to do it for the repair. Okay. All right, so that should have it. The next step I'd like to do is using a T4. Go ahead and remove the main screw here. And this is a T3, a Torx 3 screwdriver. So this metal bracket, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer over to the new screen. Some of the vendor provides the bracket for you. It comes with it. Some of them they don't. So for my case, I believe my one doesn't have it. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so you can see that the metal bracket is not available on the new screen. So later on, we're going to transfer over to the new screen just like that. All right, pretty much this is free to go. And now what we need to do is to open up the Wi-Fi antenna. This might be a bit of a difficulties because the Wi-Fi antenna is somewhat clipped onto the base. So you do need to use some pressure to pry it open. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to find the gap where I can stick my finger in underneath to lift it up. So let me try to work my way around here. So I just push it up a little. Okay, come on. Okay, so work your way around it slowly. When it comes to this section right here, you might want to be quite careful not to break the Wi-Fi antenna. All right, so now I can slide it away from my body. So slide it up to that direction. Slide it away from my body. Just be careful with the cable right here. Okay, slide it out to that direction. So you're gonna find it a little bit difficult to pry it open because the left here and the right is somewhat tucked underneath the base on both sides. So you need to pop that thing loose. And also right in the center here is a clipper that clips onto the base on this here. So you need to push this, pry it up, detach the both sides, and this is Wi-Fi antenna is free to slide away from your body to get it out. All right, so there you have it. This LCD cable, you know, the connector board is ready to be removed. So the next step is we need to remove the two plastic here, and that would free from the hinge. So we're trying to get the screw underneath the hinge. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the two screws. Open up the plastic. Two screws. Open up the plastic. And you can see that the three screws are holding onto the hinge. I'm using a T8. So T8. Hey, if you're following along with the video still, I'm glad you are halfway through the process. And if you can, please go ahead and click the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'd like to make more of this type of tutorial video for you. So subscribe and stay tuned. Let's continue with the repair. Alright, thank you for liking the video and subscribing it. And let me remove the other side of the three screws. Okay, so I have removed 6 screws, and that is the hinge that holds on to the hinge. Now I'm lifting up the screen. I'm opening up the screen. So you're going to open it up more than 90-degree angle, almost to the full extent, and you want to slide that hinge out. So it's very simple. Just slide in and slide out, just like that. Okay, now there you go. You just remove the entire screen. Now this screen, let's put it on the side, and we have the new screen here ready to be installed. Let's go ahead and open up the hinge. We need to flip the hinge up. I like to stick my screwdriver and try to lift it up a little bit. Get yourself a leverage. So once you have the both hinges all the way flipped to the back, and we're ready to install. So lift it up. Make sure you have all the cables, right? The LCD board here and the two cables underneath. Make sure it's all the way flip open to be installed. You do not want to clip the cable. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure it kind of, what I'm doing right now is, I know you can't see it, but I'm flipping the cable to be on top of the motherboard, right? So I'm tilting it, let the gravity to pull the cable down. At the same time, I can slide the hinge in to go in. Okay, the hinge is in. Slide it in. Now, make sure the board cables are not clipped. Make sure they are all on the top and above. So you're going to double check the cable. Make sure it's all the top, all the way on the top. And it's okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put one screw on the hinge so that I can close the screen. So let's go ahead and put the screw on. And let's put the other screw on the other side of the screen. Let me show it to you here. Sorry, let me show it to you here. Now we have one screw on each side. Now I can close the screen without any problem. So this is a keyboard wrapper. Let's put that on the side for now. Let's double check the cable. Make sure all the cables are above on the top of the motherboard, right? Okay, it's above. It's good. Now it's good to go. Let's go ahead and put all the screws back in. I think I paid maybe $20 on the screwdriver. It's a set of all these screws that you need for the repair. Go ahead and check it out. It's in the description below. It's in the link in the description below. All right, let's go ahead and put the plastic cover back on. We need that. T3. Okay, the next step I like to do is to install the Wi-Fi antenna. So the Wi-Fi antenna would be installed first, and then the LCD board would go on top of the Wi-Fi antenna, right? It goes like this. So make sure that you install the Wi-Fi antenna first. What I like to do is to make it a little bit straight, not all the way straight, but just enough for me to slide it in. So you slide the cable through this hole here, so slide it in. and make sure the bracket is in as well, because the screw is going to go on top of this metal bracket. And now what you want to do is to install the Wi-Fi antenna, and they're kind of a bit stubborn to install. So remember, I was having some difficulties to remove it. It kind of like a clipper, it clips on, but I just couldn't find where the clipper is. I might be doing something not right, but try not to break it, okay? Try to install it in the right way of doing things. Maybe I should remove this plastic first. I might be doing something not right. So let me see if I remove the bracket. Would that be a lot easier to install? Yes. Okay, guys. So I do make a mistake sometimes. But this one, well, at least I caught myself making the mistake and correcting it. But I just wanted to point out to you is best is to remove the plastic so that the Wi-Fi is a lot easier to come out. I was bending the Wi-Fi antenna a little bit to give me the enough room to slide it out. That was what I did earlier. When I try to put it back in, it seems to be a lot harder. So I found that this plastic cover is actually blocking the Wi-Fi antenna to go in. So if you install this afterwards, installing the antenna first and then doing this after is a lot easier. All right, once you have the two slide in, and then here in the middle, make sure the clipper is aligned in the center and press it down. That's how you're holding down the Wi-Fi antenna. Let's go ahead and put the screws back in, okay? So there are 4 main screws. Get the T4. Get the T4, install it on the Wi-Fi antenna here. Okay. The rest of the screws are 0.8 for the Wi-Fi antenna, and they're quite tedious job to do. So you can fast forward on this process or pause it. Take your time, do not strip the screws, and install all 2, 4, 6. So there are 12 tiny little screws for the Wi-Fi antenna. So take your time and install it, no rush on this part. Okay, so once you have all the screws installed for the Wi-Fi antenna, do not forget to install the cable. This cable here, I want you to pay extra careful attention to it. Do not bend or dislocate this connector here on your board. If you by accidentally press it too hard and it bent the connector, it's not a good idea. You're gonna have a bad Wi-Fi because all the Wi-Fi really depending on this cable right here to get the signal, right? So if you damage that thing, then you won't be getting a good Wi-Fi signal. And that is coming from the board, from your motherboard. So it is very difficult to fix this, just so you know. All right, so now here reconnect the cable. This is for your LCD. They're kind of like Lego. So once you press it down, it will just install. You don't have to put a lot of pressure to push it in. All right, make sure you have the bracket on top and the 2 screws to hold on to that cable right there. That is for your LCD cable. If you're still following along the video so far, you're doing great. We are almost done. I would think we are like more than halfway through the process. Maybe like 90% to get things done. The rest of it are pretty straightforward and simple. So here you want to rebend the clipper. So flip it up and make the adjustment and slide it in. It would just go straight in, pretty straightforward. Yeah. So if it's not right, don't force it. Just make sure that you flip it in the right position and it will rest on its own without giving you any difficulties to install. Again, in general, no matter what you do, and if you feel like it's giving you a hard time to do it, don't force it in. Just rethink again or replay the video again. Make sure you find the right way of finding the problem, and then just redoing it again. Don't force it in. A lot of times when you force it in, you end up getting worse, breaking stuff, right? So all right, once you have the thing done, remember the metal bracket that I told you about that we need to transfer to the new screen. It doesn't come with it, so this is your chance to transfer it back. So the bracket and the 2 screws. All right, repeat the same process for this side of the LCD. Okay, so we're done with that. Do not forget to reconnect your battery. So put this thing back on. Put the screws on to reconnect the cable. Now make sure the clipper is still open at 90-degree angle so that you can slide the connector in. And this little black plastic here is for you to able to pull to snug it in. So go ahead and slide it in first. Okay, make sure you have it all the way in and get the plastic to pull to your right to give it a good snuggle. Tuck it all the way in and then flip the clipper back down to secure that connection. Once you have that installed, let's go ahead and put the plastic back here to cover up the connection. And now what you want to do is you want to ready to install the back cover. So what you want to do is you want to align the back cover in the right position. Make sure they're about this much of a gap, and you want to slide it in. Okay, slide it in to install. Push it all the way in and then try to press it down. You should hear that little clip. Okay, and have all the screws to be put back to cover up the back cover here. Alright, so this is pretty much it, and if you find the video is helpful, please go ahead and like the video. That would really appreciate it, and comment below and let me know if you were able to follow along with the video and get your screen replaced. If you have any other question, go ahead and comment below. I'll read through the comments and I'll answer any of your questions regarding about the computer problems. So thanks for watching, and until next time, bye now.